Today we continue our exploration of the chakra system, the energetic receptor sites of the body, the associated endocrine glands, and basically the energy that pours forth to build, create, sustain, maintain our physical bodies, our physical experience, and our energetic experience of life and living as well. And today we're going to move on to the throat chakra and the thyroid gland. So we're very much moving more and more as we move up through the chakra system. We're moving more and more into the more mystical and ethereal aspects of the human body and the energy that makes up and builds the human body. So I really like exploring and talking about the throat chakra because people have some very particular and specific ideas about what the role of this energy in this center is in the body. Its proximity to the voice box leads people to believe that it's just a center of transmission, but hopefully what you'll come to understand through our exploration today is that it's so much more than that. Here we find the seat of the wise one. So let's dive straight in. Again, we'll go slow and steady to try and be as clear as possible. Take the time that you need on this topic, unpack as much as you need to, come back as many times as you need to, but let's dive straight in to chapter 22 of my book, Healing, Wholeness God Realisation, the throat chakra and the thyroid. The throat chakra, associated with the color blue, externalizes as the thyroid gland. Because of its close proximity to the voice box, which is considered the source of verbal communication, the throat chakra is commonly associated with self-expression and clear communication, a point and place of transmission where the self takes form through the use of voice. Take a few moments now to draw your consciousness into the throat chakra. Allow your mind to become still as you breathe your presence into this center, paying attention to how you feel and to how your focus shifts. I am certain that as you draw your consciousness inwards in this way, allowing your mind to be swallowed by the throat center, your awareness expands and quietens. Rather than transmitting and expressing yourself, I am certain that you find yourself inquiring of yourself, listening deep within the stillness that now holds you. I put to you that rather than being the center of human-based personality expression and transmission, the throat chakra is a center of deep mystical listening and receptivity, a point at which the depths of the true spirit-oriented self is revealing itself. This mystery and revelation being translated into intentional and divinely inspired presence in the form world. The throat chakra is the spiritual ear, turned inward rather than outward, influencing its externalized endocrine gland to respond to the messages it receives. It is the receptivity of and response to the spirit, mystical, expansive, the earpiece of truth. This center is the seat of the archetypal wise woman, perceiving of the plan and conveying that plan to her tribe. Here, the great mysteries of life, nature, and the spirit realms are revealed through felt inspirations, often working in conjunction with the higher centers of the brow and the crown, which we are yet to explore. Rather than self-expression, this center deals with the ultimate and authentic expression of the true nature of things, including the most authentic inner reality of the self. Within the body, the thyroid is the outward expression and enabler of this inner activity. I like to think of the thyroid as the accelerator of the body. It is to the body what the accelerator is to the car. It deals with the efficient use and distribution of energy in the body, driving metabolic activity on a digestive and a cellular level. The thyroid dictates how quickly and efficiently life force is used, directing this resource to where it is most needed. This should be a naturally inspired process, facilitated according to the body's goals, potentials, requirements, deficiencies, and perceived next move. It should consider the health and vitality of the entire organism, taking up and distributing energy according to the actual rather than presumed needs of the organism. Unfortunately, our mental and emotional activity often disrupts this natural process, with our wants, needs, projections, and fears introducing personal requirements, opinions, preferences, and aversions into the mix. Our attempts at self-expression and direction interrupting that which works best when it is left in the hands of natural and divine inspiration. As a humanity, we have our finger on the trigger, or our foot placed too heavily on a somewhat automatic and intelligent accelerator. Rather than listening, allowing, and following the guidance, we attempt to force and control from the level of the human. This fear-based, relentless transmission and interference manifests as a lack of connection with the inner self, which can result in thyroid gland disturbance. When a person is forceful, anxious, fearful, driving, expecting, fierce, angry, attacking, overstepping, and pushing the vehicle to run harder than is natural, this can manifest as hyperthyroidism or as an overactive thyroid. The accelerator has been pushed right down to the floor, often in conjunction with overexertion at the root chakra and adrenal glands, and the vehicle is being forcefully driven forward at consistently high speeds. A prolonged period of this kind of forceful activity is akin to racing a car at its highest speed in a gear which is far too low, regardless of whether the car is on a long, open road or is maneuvering in narrow and congested city traffic. It tears through the entire vehicle, burning enormous amounts of fuel under the strained and desperate conditions. This forceful driving of the vehicle may be due to feelings of unsafety or insecurity. It may be due to fear of underachieving, frustration with the self, life, or others, impatience, intolerance, self-judgment, self-loathing, anguish, desperation, a lust for power, feeling out of control, and aversion to weakness, an overly active mind, a desire to force one's evolution forward, anxiety or an obsession with the future, trying to run away from feelings or phenomena. Anything which propels an individual forward at great speed and intensity. People in this state tend to be hot, red, dry, and malnourished as they are unable to both absorb nutrients and utilize their energy resources appropriately. They may have bulging eyes, a goiter, nodules of the thyroid gland, thyroid autoimmunity, systemic inflammation, weak bones, high blood pressure, hair loss at the scalp and eyebrows, parasites, poor eyesight, erratic or fast heartbeat, heart disease, emaciation, or extreme weight loss. They may be attacking, quick to anger, edgy, anxious, opinionated, closed off physically, emotionally, and mentally, overly critical, obsessive compulsive, overachieving, preoccupied with material gain and physical accomplishment, judgmental, brash, harsh, snappy, irrational, scathing, and defensive. Their nervous systems tend to be stretched, misfiring as the shredded, insulating outer layer of the nerves and neural networks allows electrical messaging to leak out into the body, thus short-circuiting and missing the target. These people tend to be overly strained in all bodies and parts. They require deep nurturing of the nervous system and adrenal glands, and they have often pushed themselves to the point of adrenal fatigue and nervous system burnout. Training of the body, emotions, and mind to become still is necessary, as is addressing the fear-based feelings which cause them to drive and push themselves so hard. What, in essence, are they attempting to run away from as they relentlessly push forward? Another manifestation of throat chakra and thyroid gland dis-ease is hypothyroidism, or an underactive thyroid. An underactive thyroid is akin to a car driving very slowly in a gear which is far too high. The vehicle may be using very little fuel, but it is spluttering, faltering, stalling, unable to take off and gain traction, lacking the stamina and the drive which is necessary to burn and use resources efficiently. This type of individual is unresponsive or slow to respond to the phenomena of life. They may be very passive, slow of mind, slow in movement, and lacking in physical activity. They may struggle with their energy levels, struggle to achieve, struggle to stay awake, struggle to exercise or move the body, struggle to engage with people, struggle to perform even simple tasks. They may find it difficult to get out of bed. They may require many naps and rests. Their blood sugar may be low, and they may feel the need to eat high carbohydrate foods very regularly. They may feel like they are detached from life, living behind a thick fog which they struggle to reach through. These individuals tend to burn through their limited resources quickly, simply because they are too sluggish in their digestion to break down and properly absorb nutrients from their food, and their cells are unable to conveniently and succinctly convert their food into usable fuel. Everything is so slowed down that they are starving for sustenance and energy, choking and spluttering, their system being constantly flooded with fuel that the vehicle can't actually use. People experiencing hypothyroidism tend to gain weight easily, often appearing pudgy, pale, and soft, and unable to lose the excess weight that they carry because their metabolic fire is turned down so low. Their bodies are in preservation mode, cold, stifled, wet, filled with mucus and inflammation, experiencing water retention and swelling as minerals and toxins collect and build due to the lack of movement. They may have autoimmunity of the thyroid or of other systems of the body. They will find it difficult to think clearly, experiencing brain fog and mental lethargy. They may experience chronic pain, the source of which cannot be located or identified. They may have a low or slow heart rate paired with either high due to the extra weight or very low blood pressure. They will tend to be oily, weepy, prone to yeast, especially candida infections, and bacterial overgrowth. They will tend to be anemic, vitamin deficient, especially in B, and D vitamins, with creaky and degrading joints and a low appetite. Their hair and nails may be brittle and breaking, and they may experience conditions of the bowel such as diverticulitis, ulcers, leaky gut, reflux, fatty liver, and bacterial overgrowth. Their adrenal glands may be fatigued and they may feel stressed, but they are stagnant, tending towards depression rather than anxiety-motivated activity. Their bodies will tend to carry and store a lot of extra fuel and resources which simply can't be used. The goal with such individuals is to motivate and inspire a gusto and enthusiasm for life. It is to assist them to shift the vehicle into a gear which is appropriate for the circumstances and required speed. It is to encourage flexibility as well as a level of self-love which motivates activity and inquiry. These individuals need something which they can care deeply about, a reason and a motivation to choose to live and actively place their foot on the theoretical life accelerator as guided by life itself. A lighting of the digestive fire is necessary through high protein intake, the removal of sugary, mucus-producing and processed foods, and a reconnection with nature and their own vitality. Movement, fasting, brisk and life-giving activity, goals, hobbies, interests, connections, and the development of a healthy self-esteem, working closely with the energy of the solar plexus, are necessary in order to motivate spiritual inquiry and responsiveness. With good thyroid gland health, coupled with the necessary inner receptivity and accurate responsiveness, the body should be able to run like a luxury sports car with phenomenal fuel economy, roaring down open highways with ease, in the right gear, able to immediately respond to changing traffic and road conditions, shifting up and down gears as needed, able to take off from a stopped position, able to stop quickly at high speeds, willing to utilize fuel and resources because it knows it will hit each refueling station in perfect timing, nimbly maneuvering on difficult or winding roads, switching over to behave like a robust four-wheel drive when the road becomes rough terrain, efficiently adjusting and even able to preempt necessary adjustments because of the inspiration which is being received from a higher part of the vehicle which can see the road ahead. Clever, efficient, unafraid, running smoothly, always prepared for what lies ahead and able to navigate any terrain. This isn't fantasy. This is the body's innate character and tendency, a state of being which it is constantly striving for and which it can achieve and maintain if only we can learn how to trust and work with it and cease misdirecting it with our fears. Autoimmunity of the thyroid gland has become concerningly common. In our humanity, we are witnessing an epidemic of autoimmunity in general, especially amongst women. The medical community seems to have no real answers, blaming genetics and responding by prescribing synthetic chemicals which dampen the immune system to such a degree that it can no longer perform its function. Fresh out of our description of the heart center and the thymus gland, we know that immune system dysfunction has much to do with the heart center being closed and cold, perhaps yearning to reopen but becoming confused when confronted with the feelings of isolation and loneliness, heartbreak, self-loathing, and low self-esteem which have been stored in and around the heart. Feelings of self-loathing and self-disgust can confuse the immune system because these feelings tell the immune system that the self is wrong, that the self is the real threat, the real problem, and so the immune system responds by attacking the self, a reflection and manifestation of internal feelings of self-attack. This may account for the rising manifestation of autoimmunity, particularly in women who tend to be more compassionate, more meek, and tending towards more martyrdom, carrying the pain of their loved ones and their environment and internalizing this pain, believing that it has something to do with them and that it is their fault, that they are the problem and that they somehow deserve to carry the pains and burdens of others as a form of self-punishment. Women tend, in general, to be less confrontational and more likely to be peacekeepers and pleasers, believing it is better to absorb the negativity of others and deal with it internally rather than to see others suffer or to have to confront someone and become the cause of conflict. This internalization of negativity and the translation of negativity into feelings of self-disapproval and low self-worth, instructing the body to view itself as the source of the problem and to attack itself as though it is a threat, is a great cause of and contributor to the global rise in autoimmunity in general. Another great contributor to autoimmunity and allergies and all other states of disease, in fact, is stress in all of its forms and guises. Stress sends the message to all of the body systems that something is wrong. It is a hormone-based coded message which sweeps through the body to alert all systems that they need to get ready to fight for survival. Every single system and organ in the human body is impacted by and is profoundly responsive to stress. The body must be attuned in this way. How else is it to survive? How else could humans have lived and evolved on this planet for so long? Stress primes the body to run, to fight, or to fawn. So, indeed, a very real and valid response to extreme or prolonged stress can be to roll over, become passive, act as peacemaker, revealing the soft part of the belly to the beast and feigning weakness. Not everyone responds to all types of stress in the same way. Just because someone is outwardly calm, peaceful, quiet, and complacent does not necessarily mean that they are not stressed. This could be their version of being in survival mode, and this tactic for survival is commonly chosen by women, especially those who are experiencing abuse, which seems inescapable. For those individuals who are deeply feeling or sensitive to energy, this can also become a general way of being, a way of navigating life and remaining apparently somewhat unscathed, an automatic response to a world which feels too harsh or confusing. Whatever the outward appearance of stress, be it anxiety, edginess, being coiled up and ready to fight, or be it a placid and dissociated demeanor, apparently calm and sweet and unthreatening, the biological impacts of stress are present and real. The adrenal glands are secreting cortisol and adrenaline, the body redirecting its resources away from the other endocrine glands so that more can be available to the adrenals to perform this function. The base human instincts kick in and take over. When this happens, you no longer feel safe in your environment. Your focus is no longer on evolving, loving, reproducing, connecting with, and inquiring of your inner reality and self. You have little time or spare energy to be concerned with exercising or moving the body. Your digestive system is primed for sugar metabolism, not interested in the complicated process of breaking down proteins and fats, desiring high glycemic index foods that can quickly and efficiently be converted into sugar so that you can run and fight for an indeterminate length of time. In such a state, your mind cannot be primed for learning, for self-inquiry and spiritual evolution. Your focus becomes singular and your mind becomes flooded with anxieties and plans for survival. You have no time to sleep, and in fact, sleep is dangerous. You become hyper-focused on your environment, looking for threats and for evidence that you need to start running now. You become fearful, edgy, stressed, anxious, exhausted, malnourished, infertile, experiencing any number of the diseased states of the chakra system as your endocrine glands and your nervous system become overloaded and overworked. Your interest is not in personal growth and development. Your sole interest is in survival. The root chakra becomes the main point of focus and utilizes enormous resources in order to ensure your safety. Most of humanity is living in this state of stress, rarely, if ever, coming out of this mode to experience true safety and connection with themselves and their environment. Our society and our lives are geared towards this kind of stress. No wonder then that most of humanity has only 2 or 3 chakras open, and that even those energy centers experience enormous imbalance and dis-ease. In this high-flying, intense environment, how can anything else be the case without a deep connection with and tutorage from the levels of the soul? The body interprets all stress in the same way and treats all forms of stress as potentially life-threatening. Stress is not just physical. It is not just the result of being chased by a bear, hypothetical or real. Physical, environmental, mental, emotional, psychological, biological, and spiritual stresses all impact the body in the same way, with the same degree of ferocity. If you are experiencing emotional or mental anguish or turmoil, your body interprets this the same way it interprets coming face to face with a lion. Your body responds to negative energy, family stress, a busy schedule, environmental toxins or pollutants, viruses, bacteria, molds, parasites, yeasts, processed foods, mental activity, imagined scenarios, depression, physical abuse, energetic overload, malnourishment, confusion, exposure to the elements, loneliness, and so forth, all in the same way. Any and all stress triggers a very real biological response which alters the biochemical and physiological environment of the body. Some amount of stress is, of course, always going to be present and is, in fact, necessary for growth, evolution, and health. It is under stress that muscles are built. It is under stress that the immune system learns. It is under stress that our minds stretch and absorb new information. It is under stress that we seek new ways, new knowledge, new perspectives, and new skills. It is stress which puts the pressure on us, which causes us to heal and transform ourselves. Evolution is not just loose forward motion. The forward motion requires the individual to be actively pushing against something. This is what creates the traction and the tension which allows movement to occur. Do not fear stress and aim for comfort in its place, for comfort is the antithesis to evolution. Chronic comfort causes atrophy rather than growth. However, do become aware that most stress experienced by humanity is fear-based, extensive, and completely unnecessary, leading to suffering and exhausting the resources as well as the perspectives which are necessary for growth. You simply cannot prioritize evolution, love, insight, healing, wisdom, and God realization if you are in a battle with life, fighting for your survival. Growth-fueling stress will possess undercurrents of love rather than fear. It is intelligent and intentional. There is a fine balance necessary here, and we must all trust that the soul knows exactly what is required for our evolution and that the universe is benevolent and will always provide if only we remove our own fears from the equation. When considering autoimmunity and allergies, it is important to realize that the immune system responds to stress as well. The immune system protects the body by paying attention to the coded messages it receives. If the immune system interprets a stress response to the body, it immediately gets to work locating the threat. To the immune system, stress means that the organism is under attack, and the immune system takes its job of protecting the body very seriously. In states of stress, the immune system is chronically on high alert, scanning the body, dispensing inflammatory and other immune cells into the blood to scour the body, searching out the source of the threat, and always ready to respond if the body becomes injured in battle. When the immune system becomes hyperactivated in this way, and when the blood is flooded with inflammatory and immune cells, the immune system itself is consulting the records of the thymus gland, attempting to uncover any foreign cells which have entered the body. Is this our cell, or is this something which is a threat to us? Is this the cause of our stressed state? The immune system then attacks anything and everything which may be a threat to the safety of the organism, the body becoming inflamed and highly reactive to the environment and foreign substances, developing allergies and intolerances to more and more substances and foods as the immune system is desperately battling, attempting to annihilate the sensed threat. When this immune system overactivity is coupled with negative feelings about the self, the heart and the thymus gland conveying to the immune system that the organism itself may be the threat, then the immune system, in its hypervigilance and in its desperation to preserve the life of the organism, may in fact begin attacking the tissues of the body, especially if those tissues have become altered by foreign substances. It is important to note here that the thymus gland distinguishes between foreign and self cells by scanning the natural biological barcode, which is uniquely yours, of each cell. Unfortunately, so many of the foods that we eat and the substances we now use are not natural. They have been stripped of their natural barcode, a barcode which our bodies can recognize as belonging to our natural environment, which sustains us, and which may be permitted entrance in our bodies if it is responsive and receptive to being acted upon by our own unique barcode, thus being recoded to serve our body. And so foreign and unnatural matter is being incorporated into our cells and even stored away at certain sites in our bodies. This means that our own cells, as well as the organs and tissues of our bodies, are carrying synthetic, unnatural substances which our immune systems do not recognize. This can mean that in a stressed body where the immune system is on high alert, it can start to deliberately attack the cells, tissues, and organs of the body which are carrying or even built out of those foreign synthetic substances which do not carry the barcode of you or nature. The immune system, believing it is protecting the organism from a very real threat, becomes confused and begins to attack the cells, organs, and tissues of the body. It is of note that the immune system may respond and begin to attack the body in this way if there is foreign or unknown energy frequency in your system. Not only do your biological cells carry a barcode which is uniquely yours, but your emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies contain this same barcode, and in fact, it is the energetic self which endows the physical self with this code. This barcode is your frequency. It is your unique resonance. It is the energetic way that you can distinguish yourself from your environment. Everyone has a unique vibration which is theirs and which runs through and flavors every part of them. This means that if you do not have your boundaries in place, and if you are and you are empathically absorbing or taking on the energy of other people, flooding your bodies with foreign frequencies and energetic barcodes, this can put the immune system on high alert and cause it to start searching for a biological source of this perceived threat. It knows that it is being infiltrated and attacked by a foreign substance, but it does not necessarily understand that the foreign substance is energetic rather than biological. This is confusing for the immune system, and so, diligently performing its duties, it begins inflaming and attacking the body, becoming more specific and direct in its attack until the body itself, which now also houses unnatural and unrecognizable substances with no natural barcode, comes under attack. This is why those people who experience autoimmunity tend to be those with weak boundaries and a weakened sense of self. This is relevant to the throat chakra because not only can an immune system which is primed in such a way begin to attack the thyroid gland, which can be used as a place to store away synthetic compounds, but with higher dimensional energy pouring forth into this center and then flooding out into the organism, an immune system which is primed and out hunting may view this energy as a foreign substance and begin to attack it. Although this energy will possess the barcode which should see it permitted entrance in the body, I recognize this energy as being my own. When the immune system is on high alert, confused by feelings of self-loathing and inundated with synthetic barcodeless compounds, it may miss the subtleties of self-recognition and begin to perceive the energy of the higher self as a threat, especially if you are responding to the inpouring of this energy with stress. What a mess. Again, the throat center is the seat of the wise woman. It has been a long while since wise women were respected as such, and since our humanity encouraged our aging female populace to embrace and take up the role of the wise woman. The same can be said for the aging wise man. The very thing which should be celebrated about aging and which should inspire a feeling of belonging and contribution, providing meaning to the lives of those who are encouraged to move into such a respectful, insightful, wise, and deeply spiritual phase of their evolution, has instead become a thing about which to feel ashamed. We tell our populace that to age is a terrible thing, that to become old is burdensome, that the body and all of its faculties are bound to decline steeply once a certain age is reached. We no longer cherish the wisdom of the elderly. We have robbed them of their role, their value, their reason to keep on living and to keep on evolving. We drive our aging population into an early grave, encouraging them to sit back, relax, and degrade. We are ashamed of age. We do all in our power to remain youthful for as long as possible, and when it becomes impossible to resist any longer, we simply give up. We throw ourselves into the pit of the aging and we allow it to swallow us whole, now feeling that we belong in a community which embraces a plethora of chronic illnesses as a defining part of its collective identity. Surely this contributes to the rate of thyroid disease, autoimmunity, and all chronic disease states which are gripping our older population. Unfortunately, and reminiscent of the collective mentality of our population at this time, these chronic states of disease are manifesting in more and more individuals at younger and younger ages. We fear aging, we dislike ourselves, we know naught of energetic hygiene. We are in a collective chronic state of stress-induced fight, flight, or fawn, with our heart centers closed, choosing fear instead of love. We are no longer listening. We are heavily focused in the form world, finger on the trigger, acting and reacting, disconnected from and uninterested in the mystical reality and inspirations of spirit. We no longer place value on wisdom, insight, and the conveyance of inner realities and knowing. We are driving life from the level and the perception of the human self, and our diseased bodies and minds are reflective of this. It is time to open the inner ears, to listen, receive, and respond according to divine inspiration. Cease the battle and surrender yourself to the intention which is being conveyed to you through the whisperings of the soul. You possess the correct internal faculties and inner senses, but you must take the time to learn how to use them. So there's a lot of information there, a lot of very significant information there, especially the information relating to stress and relating to the immune system and autoimmunity. And I highly encourage, if you experience any of these states, which most of humanity does, I highly encourage you to go back and to go slowly through these things and through these topics, to bring them back to yourself, to look at how it relates to you, and to return back to the stillness. Go in, come within, start listening, stop transmitting and forcing energy out. Stop trying to drive life from the human and learn how to come in, to surrender within, to surrender up, to listen, to receive, and then to calmly and deliberately and with power and intention, with direction, respond from whatever that message is that's being received. It's a different way of existing. It's a different way of doing life. That's less about this and less about the external and more about the internal and more about deep, true, thorough, connection all the way in, all the way through, and then deliberate connection and relating with the external and the outside world. So rather than being automatic, it's deliberate, considered, precise, powerful, deliberate, to the point. This is a different way of doing, a different way of being, and hopefully you can see how all the chakra systems and all the centers work together, because this requires calmness and presence in the root chakra. It requires the creativity and the openness of the sacral chakra. It requires the self-esteem and the self-determination, the concept and the understanding of self that resides in the solar plexus chakra. It requires an openness of the heart and acuity of the heart center and of the immune system of the thymus gland. So all of these centers are connected and they should all be working together. And this is why it's really important to not just overly focus on one center, not just develop and open one center, and avoid and deny those centers that are perhaps weaknesses for you, or that you perhaps judge as being weak, and instead bring yourself together as one whole, complete, and synthesized being that exists as one and works as one. Let these centers all awaken, all come together to work together, to raise each other up and to support the function of each other. You're meant to be whole, you're meant to be complete. You're meant to have every part of you on board, every part of you aligned, every part of you deliberate. So that's all for now for the throat chakra. We continue our explorations in our next video as we explore the brow chakra and the pineal gland. I'm associating the brow chakra with the pineal gland, and that will become evidenced why in our next chapter. But for now, that's all. Go safely, go calmly, go deeply, go within. I'll see you next time.